Okay, people, there is a lot of drama, if not conflicts, and a lot of stuff going around about the permanent fund dividends in the state of Alaska. There are people holding picket signs on the sides of the roads, fighting for the permanent fund dividend, and there's also the big meetings about the how much dividends and how much they should limit it to, and what the dividend has to do with the money going out to many thousands of people, so many people in the state of Alaska. And um, a lot of the residents that rely and depend on the permanent fund dividend is the rural Alaskans. Rural Alaskans depend on the permanent fund dividend more than the people who live in the urban areas of Alaska. So a little history about the permanent fund dividend. The PFD was created after oil started flowing from the North Slope to Valdez in the pipeline. And the pipeline, well, oil was discovered in 1967 in Prudhoe Bay. And after oil started flowing into the pipeline, that's when money started flowing into the state of Alaska. And now all residents are eligible to apply for the permanent fund dividend. And many of the people who move here to Alaska are eligible to apply after living here for a certain amount of time. The PFD money is going to thousands and thousands and many people who moved here, and they they just moved here, and even after they move here, they're able to apply for the PFD, and that's that's not fair. That's not right, especially to the people who lived here, who grew up here, born and raised, especially the ones living in rural Alaska and who have lived here from generation to generation. Most of the people who moved here to Alaska live in the urban areas such as Anchorage or Fairbanks or Juneau, but a lot of them live in the urban areas of Alaska. And people have also moved here because of jobs. They got a job and they moved here. But the thing I do not understand is that it is a lot of people who receive the dividend that are not from Alaska, and they are not Alaska natives. And I think that the people who should be receiving the dividends are the Alaska natives, because we've lived off this land since time immemorial. And it is not fair that the land had to be taken away from them that they lived off of and subsisted from, and um, they it's their home, their homeland. And so what is going to happen when there's no more oil? And there's already a money deficit, and everything is always about money. Money is a conflict. And so many people complain about money and the dividend, and it is a big deal. And why complain when it is free money? You miss your chance to apply for the dividend. Maybe you can apply for it next year. If you applied for the dividend, then good job. And the Alaska Natives depend on the dividend each year because in rural Alaska the cost is so high. The gas, the food, taxes, rent, electricity, everything costs so much. I don't understand how there's a lot of people who are um, who who barely can afford to get by and still manage to live out there. It is very surprising, and it is very tough to very tough to try to make a living, especially when there aren't enough jobs out there for the people who live out there. There isn't enough jobs. So when the people get their dividend, it is their chance to pay bills and buy what they need. And the dividend is in and out of their pockets, just like that, in an instant. And people living in urban Alaska don't have to for as much pay as much for things as the people in rural Alaska. And it is there's no taxes in Anchorage or in the urban areas. They don't have to worry about taxes or paying extra as they do in rural Alaska. And I would like to ask, what do you guys think about the permanent fund dividend? Who should get it? Who should get what? How much? How does it affect the non-natives? How does it affect the natives? How does it affect rural Alaska? How does it affect urban Alaska? And what should we do? There's everything's going downhill. There isn't much to do because there's a deficit. There's gonna be no money pretty soon, and we're all going to have to go back to the way we were living thousands of years ago. We're gonna have to live off the land again, go hunting and fishing and berry picking, and the world's gonna run out of money. So it's our chance to go back to learning the way that we used to live, and I hope that the permanent fund dividend figures out, or the people with the working for the permanent fund dividend and with it figures out what they have to do, because everything has to deal with time. So good luck, and I hope you learned something about the permanent fund dividend.